It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ernie Johnson, welcoming you to the NBA on 2K Sports. Excited, thrilled to be here with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. I'm so lucky. And our coverage tonight will be coming to you from Sacramento, where the Kings will be going up against the Boston Celtics. And the Celtics finding themselves really sliding recently. They'd love to get back on a winning track. 7 losses in their last 8 games. That is not going to get it done, and they know it. Well, Boston had been in a bit of a rebuild since the end of the days of the Big Three. Last season, they got back into the postseason. Shaq, where do you see this team going in the next few years?
Well, they have great guards to build around, and they can continue to be big players in the free agency for the next few seasons. They got to make all the right moves. Their president, I played for him. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing.
You know what? I could see them trying to strive for the modern version of a lot of NBA teams. That means getting three-point shooters. If they get more three-point shooters building around that, some crisp passing, that can be a championship mix.
Thank you for joining us. We go courtside now. Kevin Harlan's got the call.
We are in Sacramento, California, home for the Kings in an interconference basketball game here. Celtics swing into this game as part of their continuing road trip. And the good news about Avery Bradley, recovered and ready to get back into the thick of things.
That was a short leave of absence, and he's back in the fold now, Kevin. We'll see if he can pick right up where he left off.
And in the grand scheme of things, that injury, not that big a deal. A little bit longer than it may have been.
It'll be the Celtics off the tip. We've got a chance here to set the floor, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for this one. On the court right now for the Celtics. Johnson is out there with Jay Crowder. Then it's Olynyk. Then it's Thomas. And it's Smart in at the 2 guard. Now here's Smart. Thomas goes in. Thomas with another miss.
And Isaiah Thomas, traded last season from Phoenix over to Boston, seemed to be a matter of fit and not production as to why they moved him.
Here's Thomas. Olynyk sets a screen for Thomas. Thomas with another miss.
That's the 3rd straight miss to start this game, and they're still looking for their first basket.
Here's McRae. Cans the 12-footer. McRae's got the opening bucket of the night here for the Kings.
Nice make for him as they get the scoring started.
Yeah, he gets it going, and who knows now? You know, it might be a really big night in store for him.
Now, here's Thomas. He's coming off a 19-point game against Miami.
And also give him credit for his ability to pass the basketball. He was always looking for the open man.
Here's Morris. Left side Curry. Lets it go with the 3. Another miss by Curry. Last outing for Sacramento, they won that game against Dallas.
Yeah, the bench production in that game was terrific. Points from multiple sources.
Yeah, everybody that stepped on the floor played and made a contribution, and that's always a positive thing.
And the shot's good from Crowder.
And boy, did they need that one. Their first make in the 5 field goal attempts they've had.
Shoots it up. Another miss by Curry.
Really just struggling here in the first few minutes. 5 attempts with only 1 falling.
Smart wide open, he fires. And the Celtics hit again from deep. And Sacramento has possession. Trailing by 4. Morris kicks to Cauley-Stein. Johnson with the block. And pushing it up. Here's Boston. Here's Crowder. And it's rebounded by DeMarcus Cousins.
That's not the type of opportunity he fails to convert very often.
It's stolen by Johnson. Thomas goes in. Out of bounds. Sacramento will take possession.
And checking out the numbers for Cauley-Stein. How's the last month of basketball been for him? He's around 6 points per game, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. And some pretty good numbers, guys. He's certainly making a contribution.
Better than expected. He still has a ways to go, but I like what I'm seeing right now.
And the Kings last season struggled with just about everybody. And the Eastern Conference was no different. Just couldn't get the wins they needed to keep pace in their conference.
Kelly Olynyk. First personal foul, team's first.
Clark, the Kings last season only 11 wins in 30 games against the Eastern Conference. Only had more out of the conference wins than the Wolves last season. That was not a good number.
Yeah, and the Kings didn't have a winning record against any Eastern division either. So you can't make up ground in the West if you can't beat the teams in the East.
Pushes it down to finish the break.
Quick hands on the steal and then just mad hops on the slam.
Great sequence for them defensively and Clark offensively.
Well, one usually leads to the other, Kevin. That's just good, aggressive, attacking basketball at both ends.
Johnson. Nice spin off the left rim and in.
And he can time his passes so perfectly. Wow, what an assist.
Out to the right wing. Here's Curry with the three. That is good.
You know what, guys? He can really light it up from the perimeter at times.
For Boston, they come into this one following a loss to the Heat.
And that's one of those games where I just felt the attitude going in was wrong. I think they believed what was being said about them in the press, and that was a game that they just couldn't win.
I'm going to disagree with you here. I don't think it was about lacking confidence in themselves. I just think the talent difference between the teams was too much for them to overcome.
Yeah, poor job defensively, giving him such a clear look at the basket from three-point range.
Down low, here's Olynyk.
And the thing with Kelly Olynyk is he does some stuff that really helps you, and some also that will hurt. I mean, he's highly skilled. He's got the deep range, textbook positioning in terms of the post. A lot of tricky moves down there. Yet he has a hard time being effective against great athletes, which the NBA is filled with. So he's going to have to evolve as a basketball player if he wants to be effective.
A platoon swap here for Sacramento. And a new group in for the Celtics. Tyler Zeller's checked in for Johnson. Brown comes in for Jay Crowder. Bradley's checked in for Smart. And Hunter subbed in for Isaiah Thomas. That's off as well, so he misses both. On offense, here are the Kings. Stringing it together. They've got an 11-2 run going. Top of the key, Harris. From deep. That's good. Harris has got himself going there. His first points of the game on the deep ball. Well, and back to Kelly Olynyk. As a coach, you have to identify the matchups where he can be effective because Clark is against explosive long limb guys. They'll take advantage of him.
Yeah, they will, but in the right matchup, he's effective. He can help. He makes 35% of his threes, has done that for the last 2 years, and I think he gives you some toughness and rebounding as well. I like him as a second unit player.
Here's Rose following the bucket by the Celtics. Off his leg, and it's whistled a kick. Jerebko's checked in for the Celtics. Tipped away. It's stolen by Bradley. To the wing right side. Tries a three. Oh, he got hacked on the three-pointer. He'll head to the line. It was a tough battle down the stretch, but the Celtics were able to get back into the playoffs last year.
And kind of just hovering around all season, but give them credit. They fought their way in and spent only 1 year out of the postseason in their rebuild.
And he can't make it 3 for 3.
And, you know, for the Celtics, the actual playoff series didn't go well. They got swept by the Cavaliers, but most people will remember the injuries from the series more than the play, and the Celtics have a bright future, no doubt.
Austin with the ball after Devin Harris's three-pointer that didn't go. Brown kicks to Bradley. The Celtics working the ball around now. Boston, no good that time either.
You're not going to see that very often. Plenty of space, but he just, let's face it, he whiffs on that one. Well, listen, it was a forgettable series for Celtics fans. However, the Celtics' young core were able to experience postseason basketball. That's something that you can really never replicate. I'm sure they'll be hungry for more of it, and credit Brad Stevens on a terrific job.
No way to mess that one up, Kevin. I mean, he powered it down with both hands.
Not this guy. He is a superb finisher.
And when he gets near the hoop, guys, he is a tour de force.
Rebounding is going to be the focal point for them in this one, fellas. I can feel it.
It always is, and it has been so far, and they've gotten a nice edge on the glass.
Rebko. And so, both teams trading buckets as we end the first quarter. Kings ahead, up by 2. We'll get right back to the action when we return. And Amir Johnson re-signed in Toronto. He's been a big part of this team for years, and he talked about their great fan support in Toronto.
I'm on some rappers pay my bill. All up on TV, I thought it made me richer.
A lot of fans south of the border in the U.S. are surprised when they learn how passionate, Clark, the fans in Toronto can be.
You know, Kevin, that's so true. I mean, when they get it going at the Air Canada Center, that place rocks. And it's great to hear Amir talk about how that pumps him up and makes him want to do it for Canada.
Welcome back, folks. We have a close game here at the start of the second quarter of play. And for the Kings guys, what jumps out to you stats-wise?
A lot of tough D being played by them so far. It's been the difference maker.
Greg, no uncontested shots for the most part. That's why they've had success.
We've got DeMarcus Cousins. Marcus Morris is out there with Costa Kupas. Then it's Devin Harris. And it's McCray in at the 1. So that's the 5 in the game for Sacramento. Boston trailing. Passes to Crowder. Thomas a screen on Morris. From downtown, Thomas's shot is off.
DeMarcus Cousins can really be unstoppable at times on offense. He's shown star qualities ever since he stepped into the NBA. But it wasn't until last season that he was voted to the All-Star game.
Now here's Thomas after Devin Harris's miss. And Thomas, here we go. He got right to the cup using that screen. Thomas got the game tied up here for Boston.
That was the 3rd straight high percentage look this defense has allowed. I mean, these defenders have got to start bumping bodies in the paint. Be more physical, be more aggressive.
The game's just far too easy right now when it comes to attacking the basket. They have got to do better.
And some changes here for the Kings. Cauley Stein comes in for Kufis, and Curry subbed in for Devin Harris. And the Celtics also making a change. Smart's checked in. And pushing it up, here's Boston. Thomas with the ball, and Curry picks him up defensively. Now here's Smart. D right on him. Dishes it to Johnson. 5 to shoot. The 3 from Thomas. Cousins pulls it in. The Kings have gone 1 of 3 to start out the second quarter. McCray passes to Cousins. Hits some rim on the way in, and the bucket's good. Cousins has got his second bucket tonight. Boston's gone 0-2 from deep here in the second. Zeller dishes to Thomas. Pass to Smart. Back to Thomas. Plenty of space. Rebound by DeMarcus Cousins. Cousins has got his 5th rebound right now in the game.
His touch has disappeared on him this quarter. He just hasn't been able to get it going.
The D just sagged off just enough, and no hesitation on his part.
The Boston Celtics figured to be near the bottom of the league last year. In many ways, they outperformed a lot of people's expectations.
And by no means were they a contender at any point, but they very well could be ahead of themselves in terms of the rebuilding process.
Kelly Olynyk's checked in for Tyler Zeller. And a little under 2.5 minutes gone by here in the second quarter. Now here's Thomas. Defense is right there. To the right side. The open shot by Smart. And the shot falls short this time.
And with the Celtics being a surprise threat near the end of last season, even their losses were close games.
They've really flipped things around offensively.
Yeah, and anytime you can make more than half of your shots, you'll take that.
Now here's Thomas. Defense right on him. Inside. Here's Olynyk. That one falls, coming off of Thomas's feet. Thomas got 4 assists in the game.
To back up your point about the Celtics being in close games, I mean, their point differential on the year was less than where you would expect it to be for a team that made the playoffs. I mean, it really gives you an idea of how many close games they played.
Here's Crowder. It's blocked. Outside Curry. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2. And some stats here, guys. The scoring breakdown for Sacramento.
Well, I'll tell you what, they must have had a good shoot-around because they've been fantastic from long range so far, fellas.
And also defensively, they've been able to cause some turnovers tonight, and that also builds confidence and gives you momentum.
Here's what Boston's going with right now. Jerebko's checked in for Johnson. Brown comes in for Crowder, and Hunter subbed in for Isaiah Thomas. And that one's good. Hunter.
Perfect screen there. Set him up with a terrific look.
Yeah, I like the fact that the setup was good, the screen was solid, but you also have to look at the fact the defender didn't do his job as well as he could have.
That drops. And the Kings lead by 6.
Boy, such outstanding patience and decision-making for them offensively.
Absolutely. Their ball movement has been outstanding, and they're piling up the assists.
Now here's Brown. 11 points for him in that last game against the Heat in Miami. Clock at 6. Pass to Olynyk. The Celtics need to get a shot off. Top of the key. Know what? Now Sacramento takes it the other way.
And there was a question of whether or not Derrick Rose would be able to get back to his former self. At times last season, you could see him back in that MVP form. How about the way he's able to angle his body to shield the big fella off and still get the finish?
You've got to be clever with your sleight of hand when you get inside and try to finish against the bigger guys. And he made it look easy that time.
And started hot, and he's only gotten harder.
And with Rose again, he showed flashes last season of his level of play, Clark, before the injury.
Yeah, exactly. And you hate to see any player go down with injuries, especially a talent like Derrick Rose. He still needs to show that he can regain that high level of NBA play for an entire season. I think that's just a matter of time, Kevin.
So it's Sacramento now after the basket by Boston. And that one's good, Shumpert. Celtics trail by 7. Here's Hunter. 9 points in the game so far. Over in the corner, Brown. Jerebko kicks to Hunter. Nice ball movement by Boston. Brown wide open. He fires. Good, and Smart gets the assist. Brown's got himself on the board with 3 there. We've got 22 seconds left now here in the second.
I'd like to see him use a little clock here.
I agree with you. Milk the clock with this possession. That's what they've got to be doing.
It's Curry outside. Another 3 for Sacramento.
He is on fire from behind the arc.
Yeah, it seems like all of his points are coming from deep, Greg.
Brown kicks to Hunter. And that's not going to go. And so we conclude the first half. Kings lead by 7. And a chance now to send you over to Doris Burke, standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Well, DeMarcus, certainly a well-played first half by this team. Tell us about how the discipline and regimen has helped this group get its focus.
We've actually been practicing what we're preaching now, so it's carrying over into the game. And, I mean, we've been doing that so far, and we've been pretty good so far.
Well done, DeMarcus. Thanks for the time. Guys?
Okay, Doris, much appreciated. And now for halftime. So we'll be back in just a bit to get the third quarter underway.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here alongside Kenny, the Jet Smith, and Shaquille O'Neal. We'll be looking back at the game's first half. A pretty close game for the Kings throughout the first quarter. Their largest deficit of the period was just 4 points. They were right there within shouting distance the entire time. In the second quarter, we began to see what they're capable of when everything starts clicking, as they pulled out to a 7-point lead by the end of the half. Shaq, how did you think the Kings were playing?
The field goal percentage was off the Chisnarts, Ernie. Let me rewind it. The field goal percentage was off the charts, Ernie. It was well planned, well executed. They took very few bad shots, and that needs to be the focus from here on out. More smart basketball, don't try to do too much, and open the door for a comeback.
And over to Kenny. What did you think about Boston?
Well, the perimeter D is just too loose. I mean, there's no excuse for letting the team rain that many threes on you. And at that higher percentage, guys aren't fighting through screens. They're not staying with their shooters. They're not helping out. Just bad basketball on a defensive end. They've got to tighten it up on a high level in the second half.
Well, that's all for now, as it looks like the second half is just about ready to get started. Enjoy the rest of the game.
And the third quarter about ready to get underway.
And what a game for Curry. He's got 14 points, and he's drained 4 3-pointers here as well.
And with more to come, it wouldn't hurt to keep getting him the basketball.
Kings leading now by 7.
And I think it's fair to say last season was a bit of a transition year for the Kings. I mean, after firing Malone and the injuries to their stars, they just tried to build for the future, realizing that was going to be in their best interest.
Second half underway. Here's who Brad Stevens got on the floor. Isaiah Thomas out there was Smart. Then it's Jay Crowder. Then it's Johnson. And it's Olynyk in at the pivot spot, manning the middle.
And if the shot's not there, you've got to understand that. Move the basketball.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not quite sure what his mindset or what he was thinking there. I mean, that was just a terrible shot.
Now, here's Olynyk. Taking a look at his stats, he's averaging around 9.5 points a game. Outside Thomas. Looking to end his cold spell. Leaps for it, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by Thomas.
And checking out the stats for Isaiah Thomas. His last 10 games, averaging about 18 points per, 5 assists, and just over 2 steals. He has been terrific throughout, putting up some huge numbers offensively.
Yeah, you just plug him in. He's a flat-out scoring machine. When you plug him up, let him go.
Curry's shot is good. And the Kings last year were able to get George Karl to lead the team. A good hire for them. This team did decent under him back in the last half of the season.
Yeah, they still got a lot of work to do, but he can certainly make it happen for him. One of the outstanding coaches in our league. The Kings actually were in it for a while last year, but then had a mini rebuild mid-season.
For DeMarcus Cousins, his numbers have been flat-out phenomenal. I mean, just incredible. Sometimes hidden by the lack of what's around him in Sacramento, especially, Greg, when you compare last year's stats with other centers in the NBA.
Yeah, he's averaged nearly 5 points more per game than the next center. Top 3 in rebounding for all centers. This guy is the complete package down low.
And some changes here for the Kings. Kufis checked in for Cauley-Stein, and Devin Harris is subbed in for Curry. Bradley's checked in for Boston. To the wing right side. The dish now to Thomas. There's a good screen. Kicks to Olynyk. Almost, but it rolls out.
Guys, back to DeMarcus Cousins last season. He was top 3 for centers in assists and steals, and he was in the top 7 in block shots.
Well, if you're going to give them layups, there's no way you're going to get back in this game.
Here's Thomas after Devin Harris's score. Johnson the screen. Thomas goes in to the inside, looking to end the run, but they recover it. Sacramento leading by 10. To the paint. A nice shot by Kufis. Kufis has got his first points in this one.
And talking about Cousins, he's a franchise talent. No one debates that. He can take over a game anytime he feels like it. And heaven help the NBA if he ever starts feeling like it over an 82-game year.
Now, here's Bradley. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one. There's the bucket. Good.
That's really told the story today, guys. I mean, throughout this game, they've been able to get the ball in tight and then finish.
More active, and more physical down low. That's what's really been the difference thus far.
And that's out of bounds. Sacramento will retain possession.
Risky pass in a situation like that. Very lucky that wasn't a steal.
Fortunate to get it through. I thought he was headed the other way with that one.
The Celtics making a switch here. Zeller's checked in. One-on-one here. And with that shot, the Kings lead is cut down now to just 8 points with the basket from Bradley.
Really nice dime dropping there. Playmaking ability is exactly what you get from Isaiah Thomas.
No other way to put it. Just a poor shooting performance for him, but luckily his teammates have picked up the slack.
And the pass to Zeller. Here's Crowder. A three-pointer off the mark. Sacramento leading by 8. To the middle. Got a piece of it. Here's Koufos. And once again off the mark by Sacramento. For Boston, they've gone an even 50% from the floor here in the third quarter. 4 of 8.
And guys, we've seen teams hire college coaches with no NBA experience before. It hasn't always worked out. But for Boston, they have to be very pleased with Brad Stevens.
Inside and taken away by Johnson. Now here's Bradley. Looking at his point production, he averages almost 11 points a game. Upside Thomas, down low. Bradley drives in and fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2. Marcus Morris picks one up there. Taking a look at Avery Bradley, his career's been kind of up and down, Greg. Started out in high school where he developed into one of the nation's top prospects in high school.
You know, it's a great point. And as a college freshman, really established himself as one of the top defensive guards in the country, won numerous awards, then enters the draft after only 1 year.
You know, with Avery Bradley, he was the 19th pick in the draft for the Celtics. The outlook for him was great, but then ball handling and shooting injury concerns flattened out his development. He had a hard time getting over the hump for a few years, but he's over it now.
Here's what Boston's going with right now. Your Rebco's checked in for Johnson. Brown comes in for Crowder, and Hunter subbed in for Isaiah Thomas.
And, you know, getting back to Avery Bradley, he's been dynamite the last 2 years. He's finally found consistency with the mid-range jumper and plays a complete game of basketball. With just a little more seasoning, I really feel like the sky's the limit. And it doesn't even matter that he's surrounded on that possession. He's got the size to pull those boards down anyway. Such a strong finisher on the fast break.
And, Greg, I love the fact he's always in control. Even though he's going at breakneck speed, he still maintains his body control.
Brown with it, picked up by Harris. And Bradley gets it to go.
They needed a run desperately, and boy, did they come up big.
And, you know, it wasn't just about getting hot offensively. Defensively, they've been stellar as well.
Here's the Celtics with the ball. They're on a 13-4 run right now. And again, Boston with the triple.
Excellent ball movement there, guys.
And that's keyed this run. Passing it with purpose. The D hasn't been able to keep up.
And here are the Kings now. They've held a 12-point lead early.
Well, they certainly didn't have much of a problem getting the ball into the post that time.
Yeah, and that's important because this game may ultimately come down to which team controls the paint in crunch time. I like the move to go 2 for 1 here.
So,
wow.
That's a beautiful jam.
And guys, that's a big swing right there. I mean, taking the steal and then turning it into 2 easy points on the dunk.
No telling how important that sequence could turn out to be.
And guys, in a game this snug, moments like that are the ones we usually look back on at the end as a difference maker.
Special thanks to Kia for that sweet Kia Slam Cam replay. The 11-footer. And a big bounce off the rim, but it sinks right in. Now it's a 6-point Sacramento lead. Harris against Brown. Picked by Zeller. Brown the pass to Hunter. Lets the 3 fly. The shot's good. Brown making the play. Hunter's got 15 points. And at the close of the third quarter, still a close game, and both teams putting up points in a hurry. The Kings on top, leading by 3. Live from Sacramento, you're watching 2K Sports. And thanks for joining us again as the fourth quarter of play is set to get rolling. It's been a close battle to this point. And here is Thomas. Marcus Morris is out there with Cauley Stein. Then there's McCray. Then there's DeMarcus Cousins. And it's Curry in at the 2. That's the 5 out there for the Kings. Now here's Thomas. No good from outside.
Well, they're fortunate. The defense was taking a big chance leaving him that wide open behind the arc.
Here's Curry. And Boston with the rebound. Smart dishes to Thomas. To the inside. Crowder takes it off the glass. Crowder's got the first points up on the board here in the fourth for the Celtics.
And I love the fact that he didn't have to slow down or adjust there. The pass was just timed perfectly.
Three-pointer. The offensive rebound. Cauley Stein's shot is good. And the Kings lead by 3.
You know, it's really going to be all about hard work from this point on. And they worked hard to create that high-quality shot right there.
No question. That's their goal down the stretch here. I think finding those close-range rhythm shots.
How about that fantastic finish and the aggressive move, too, Kevin?
Trying to send a message, Clark, with that slam, I think.
And I'm not sure if it was text or email, but he definitely threw that one down. And really, the defense fouling there to prevent the layup, but that's exactly what you need to do.
It is. I mean, no reason to back off and give him the layup. I mean, much better off making him go to the line.
All right, we'll take a look now at how the points have been generated so far. A scoring breakdown for the Kings.
They've been penetrating with a certain amount of ease, guys, just as much in this half as the first.
Another thing they've done tonight well is share the ball. So many of their points have come off of good, crisp passes.
Well, I mean, a semi-productive trip to the free throw line, but we'll see whether or not it costs them.
Thomas, no good.
Well, I tell you what, that's too good a look to pass up there. Even though it didn't go, that's one you got to take.
Cousins, and he takes it in for the layup off a very nice feed.
Good job threading that pass into the lane. I like his vision, guys. He sees everything.
Thomas goes in, and the rejection by Cousins. Morris against Thomas. On deep. Morris, no good. Celtics trail by 4. Johnson kicks to Smart. That one falls, coming off Johnson's feet. And that's now 7 points for Marcus Smart.
Really good awareness right there on the assist.
McCray passes to Cauley Stein. Again, Sacramento. Just a little under 2.5 minutes have passed now here in the fourth. Thomas dishes to Johnson. Thomas with the ball. Johnson the screen. And Thomas, here we go. Here's Crowder. Here's Johnson. And the rebound paying off as they pick up 2 on the second chance bucket right there.
And there's no quit when it comes to battling there until the final whistle. What a putback.
Near the three-point line, it's Morris. And it hung on the rim, but wouldn't fall for him. The Celtics have gone 4 of 8 in this fourth quarter, shooting at even 50% from the field. Double team on Thomas. Johnson kicks to Olynyk, and it's all evened up.
Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
That's right. 5 of their last 6 makes were on the interior. They've established their inside presence.
Boy, but he was close, Kevin, to making the defense pay for lackadaisical coverage there.
Yeah, you may not be as lucky next time down if you're the defense. You cannot allow him to get those kinds of looks.
And here we go. Fast break. Curry's got it. Stolen by Thomas. And pushing it up. Here's Boston. Smart leading the charge. Good work defensively by Morris.
You know, he can be a little hesitant near the rim. We saw it there. If the defense offers just a little bit of resistance, he doesn't take it up quite strong enough.
And how about the execution, really when it matters most? He knew he had the height advantage and just got the job done. No need to pass in that situation.
Here's Thomas. Following the basket by Marcus Morris. That gives them the lead. And that's now 7 points for Isaiah Thomas.
Despite his ineffectiveness, the team has found other scoring options, which you have to have when one of your main guys is struggling.
And he's really having all sorts of problems with his jumper right now.
Yeah, big time. I mean, the words that come to mind, ice and cold and disappearing stroke, all with a block.
Good. Olynyk's got 4 this quarter.
Guys, his consistency in terms of shooting has really helped them seize control.
Timeout called by the Kings. They're behind by 3. 1:33 left in the fourth quarter. And now Doris Burke has an update from the sidelines.
Hey, guys. Well, George Karl had some advice for the team in that last huddle. The three-pointers obviously have been hurting them, and he told his players, we've simply got to play them tighter on the perimeter. We can't afford to give them these wide-open looks. Kevin?
Now, here's Bradley. Thomas gets a wide-open look. Thomas with another miss.
He continues to struggle from the field. But luckily for him and his team, his teammates have been able to pick him up and get the job done.
Yeah, great post position. That's going to be key here in crunch time.
And guys, let's get your take on the scoring breakdown for Boston.
They keep piling up the assists, and they haven't cooled off at all.
They've also been pounding it inside tonight and coming away with a lot of points in the paint. I call those PIPs.
Now a timeout called by Boston.
Let's hear a red, white, and blue welcome for your team, USA!
1:11 left in the fourth quarter. Double team on Thomas. Here's Bradley. Pulled the shot a little left, but the bounce goes his way. And the Celtics lead by 2.
Even double team, he had the vision to see the open man.
McRae passes to Kufis. It's in! And tie game. That is a huge basket right there.
That was massive.
You know it. He's stepping right into the spotlight there.
Now a timeout called by Boston.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Kings 15. Come on, fans, let's get up and
Outside Thomas. Feeds it to Bradley. Here's Olynyk. Money!
And he's shaking off that slow start, giving them a boost here in the second.
46 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Curry kicks to Cauley-Stein. It falls! And tie game. That is a huge basket right there.
Nice pass. He got the ball right into his teammate's shooting pocket. On time and on target.
His ball distribution tonight just as good as it gets.
Yeah, it sure has been. I mean, all you have to do is look at the numbers. There's no lying in those totals.
Morris. Quick shot there, and it's off target. Here are the Celtics with the ball. And an intentional foul right there.
That's his first personal foul.
23 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one, and he commits the intentional foul.
That's his second personal foul.
Good on the first, and that makes it a 3-point lead. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 4-point ball game.
Outstanding work at the foul line to make this a 2-possession game.
Now a timeout called by Sacramento. They're trailing by 4. We've got 22 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Guys, your thoughts?
And a quick bucket and a foul is really the only option at this point.
And the important thing about the foul is who you foul. They don't want to send a top-notch free thrower to the line if they can avoid it.
And now they foul and stop the clock.
No choice but to foul there, but he's probably the last guy you want to see on the line.
But there was no time really to be selective. Stopping the clock was the priority.
He drops the first one, and that puts them up by 5. Second one is good. Getting both at the line, and it's a 6-point ball game.
That ought to do it. I think any chance for a miracle comeback just went out the window with those freebies.
Now a timeout called by Sacramento. They're down by 6. 11 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Buries it from outside.
And when he's got that much of a height advantage on the perimeter, it's really tough on the defender. Easy three-pointer.
They're going to prolong the game here with an intentional foul.
Yeah, you have to do that, though. You can't just let him dribble the game out.
Exactly. I mean, you got to stop the clock any way possible and hope they alligator arm a few of those free throws.
And he hits both free throws here. So now it's a 5-point game. 7 seconds left in the game. McCray misses the deep three-point attempt.
It would have been something to see if he could hit that shot from that deep.
Greg, you know it. I know it. There aren't very many guys that can hit from out there. But he is one of them. That's the kind of range he has.
And so it's the Boston Celtics with the W. A truly gutsy performance away from home.
You know, it really was. And, Kevin, when this one was hanging in the balance late, they showed just what a tough-minded group they can be.
Thank you for joining us. That'll do it for now. For Greg Anthony, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching the NBA, presented by 2K Sports. Now time to head over to the studio where the award-winning Ernie Johnson is with Shaq and Kenny, all standing by. Guys, take it away.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Kevin, much appreciated. And now let's present our Jordan player of the game, Amir Johnson.
He was dead on from the field tonight, guys. I'd call his performance economical because there was no wasted opportunities. He took advantage of every good look he got. I mean, everything he put up was going in.
His play tonight, Ernie, was finally a bright spot for them because, you know, they had a very rough stretch of games. It's been a while since their last win, and he was not content on playing a supporting role and letting them lose another one. He came on strong, took over, and put an end to the losing streak.
And, folks, that'll wrap it up for tonight. We hope you enjoyed the game. For Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith, Kevin Harlan, and the entire 2K Sports crew, I'm Ernie Johnson. Have a good evening.